In this chapter, we will learn all about the important aspect of communication between families and teachers. This includes much more than just parent-teacher conferences, and you will delve into these possibilities over the next 2 class sessions. First, I want you to think about why parent-teacher partnerships are so important. Pause the lecture right here and write down a couple of reasons that you can think of. So we touched on this a bit in the last sessions, but so it shouldn't be too difficult to think about them. So you should have said something about educating the whole child, knowing about a child's home life, and how it will help you make decisions in the classroom, how forming those true partnerships supports the learning of the student, all of those types of things. So true partnerships really involve 4 important elements: mutual commitment. In other words, parents and families having to be on board and dedicated to the student's education. Also, action. If there's something that needs to be done, both parties need to be on board with that to ensure the best for the child. Also, trust. This one's really important, and we don't think about this as being needed between parents and teachers, but there has to be trust from both parties and the best interest of the child being taken into consideration. Also, understanding. This is where your knowledge of a family situation and culture and home life will come into play. All of these elements play a part in the type of partnership that you are able to establish with the families of your students. So one-way communication, this is really the most used type of education. You should have this some of the time through newsletters, handbooks, orientations, report cards. But usually it involves the teacher telling the parents a lot about what's going on, not a lot of two-way communication. Sometimes even the parent-teacher conferences can become something of this time, but you need to ensure that there is two-way communication and that you need to listen more during those conferences, and so parents can know that you invite their input and that you're working as a team. So building relationships really is what communication is all about. Yes, it's about the student, but it's also about building the trust with the family so they know that you care about their child and you want the best for him or her. So some parents have had a lot of bad experiences with school, either because they weren't a good student, they struggled with friendships, they were picked on by bullies. So all of these things come into play, and you have to be that door back into the school where those parents feel welcomed and supported and appreciated and actually needed. It's good for them to be invited into your classroom so they know that their child is in a safe place, and they can also contribute to the child's education through coming and sharing about their culture or their career or something of that sort. So we do have to remember that parents are not trained teachers, but they are experts on their own children. So invite them in, have an open door policy, and just watch your relationship build and grow so you can best help that student's meet that student's needs. So what do parents really think? Parents think that teachers should take the first step, and this is huge, and you should just go with that. That's fine. You know, be proactive about it. Be the first to call, invite them into the classroom, praise them for the work that they're doing with their child. This is important in that first step in supporting the family. Also, parents think that teachers wait until problems are severe. Don't do that. You need to be making that first call whenever things are very positive. Always make that first call home positive. And a phone call home the first week is even great to do. That shows the parents that you're on the ball, you are paying attention to their student, and that you do want that positive relationship. Parents also think that communication should be ongoing and positive, as well as when problems arise. So this goes back to the communication before problems even happen. Yes, it's more work on your part, but in reality, you should be communicating with your parents long before there really is an issue. When I was teaching, I sent star folders home, which contained a space for parents and me to write back and forth. I would write things about how their child was doing and how they would, and then they would respond. And I didn't write about every child every day, but it gave a place for communication to occur on an ongoing basis, and parents knew that I was paying attention to their child and I was reaching out to them in an ongoing way. Parents also think that most homework should be done at school. This is really surprising to some future teachers, but a lot of parents do not like homework. They don't want things to come home. They think everything should be completed at school. And so you need to think about this when assigning work to be done at home. Really think about the goal of the homework. Is it because they need more practice, or is it because you just think homework is supposed to be done? You might want to do something where the whole family is involved, such as a project or reading each night. But you can also ask your administrator or grade level team to see what has worked for them in the past. You need to also think about what parents think. They think that we need explanations from teachers without educational jargon. Yes, parents know that you have a degree in education, but they do not have the background knowledge of theories and other vocabulary terms like you will. So don't talk down to them, but make sure that you use terms that they will easily understand. And here's what teachers think. Just like parents and families have preconceived ideas about what teachers should do, teachers also have these ideas about what parents do or don't do in relation to their child. So let's talk about those. Parents place careers and social lives above their kids. Even if you have some evidence that this is true, don't act like it to parents. Always assume that they will put their child first. If you notice that homework is not being done or notes are not being signed, make sure to find another way to communicate with parents so they will be able to respond. So it could be email, Facebook, Twitter, phone call, lots of different options. Some teachers think that parents don't teach morals or manners, and this might be evident, you think, in how their child acts. But again, don't act like this to parents. You might voice concerns, but you don't always know the whole story. So just be thoughtful in how you place some of these things to parents. You need to think about how you talk about their student. Also, some teachers think that parents need to update reading and math skills to help kids. You know, this might be true, but maybe you need to be the person who suggests to your administrator a night workshop or two that invites parents in to inform them of your math and reading programs and helps them to get familiar with that new terminology or skills they need, or suggestions for how to help their own kids. Also, teachers think that they need more training on involving parents in the classroom and education world, and this is why you're taking this course. So you will be knowledgeable about how to do that. So back to communication, there are two barriers really, and that two-way communication is what you are looking for. The first barrier is language. Make sure that what you say is what you mean. It's really common for words to be misinterpreted. Some parents come in with preconceived notions of what you're going to say to them. So really be careful about what you say and say what you mean. Use specific language. Also, your body language says a lot about what you think and what you feel, and make sure that your verbal match your nonverbal, and we will do an activity in class that talks about that. There are two ways to aid two-way communication. First of all, you have to be an excellent listener, and that's really difficult sometimes when you know what you think and you think you know what the parents are going to do in response, but you need to listen almost more than you talk. So make sure that you do all these nonverbal things like maintain eye contact and your posture and nodding and all of those good things. Another thing that aids two-way communication is honesty, and that starts developing the trust that you need to have a good relationship with those parents. Honesty, committing to openness, make sure that you're being honest and that you invite honesty from them. The initial communication that you do is very important. There are lots of ways to reach out to parents for the first time, and make sure that you remember that you only get one chance to make a first impression. And so the initial interview sometimes can be done when first parents come and enroll their children. Sometimes home visits are done, not a lot anymore because some families are ashamed of their homes. Sometimes with preschool students, those are still done. A personal phone call home is very good. It sets a positive tone. Sending a welcoming postcard to the child and family. Every teacher should do this. It shows that you are inviting them into your classroom. You're excited for them to come. And also open house and meet the teacher night. You should always put your best foot forward, be very positive, have fun things for them to do, but also give them information about your classroom and also welcome them in to come and share something during the school year. Informal communication is done a lot, and you need to be ready to do that. It can be done on the fly or it can be planned, but the most common type really occurs when parents drop off or pick up their children, especially if you do it like in a drop-off zone or in a cafeteria. You can have those interactions and you can give little tidbits about their days or whatever, just something positive to leave that parent with. It's a casual and safe setting. Usually it's very flexible, it's not threatening. So for those you don't see on an ongoing basis, contact them by phone and make sure that it's positive. That first phone call, that will set the tone. So maybe if you have a few positive phone calls, then later, if you have something that's not so positive to talk about, they will be more receptive to your phone call. Parent-teacher conferences, these are the most frequently used method of parent-teacher communication. Occur usually for 15 or 20 minutes at a time. These are very scheduled, so you need to be prepared. You will do an assignment over parent-teacher conferences, so I won't spend a lot of time here, but these can really be physically and emotionally draining for you, and sometimes not all parents come, so you need to make sure that you contact them in other ways to make sure you get to talk to them. Here are some tips, and we'll talk about these in class, so I'm not going to go over them now. You can just take a look at them and be knowledgeable about them. And here's some more. We'll talk about those later. Written communication is very, very important. You will do this a lot with parents, and you need to be perfect in your spelling, your grammar, your punctuation, because it's permanent. Parents can take these things to the principal. I've seen this happen before, and show the principal problems with grammar or punctuation, and then the parents, they don't feel like the teacher's credible anymore, and so this can really be a black mark on your record. So be knowledgeable about that. There are lots of great ideas in the chapter on pages 118 and 19 to help you design your newsletter. You will actually be creating one of these as part of your final project, so you can use some of those suggestions. I suggest that you use the same format each month. It helps parents to know where things are located. You might put dates and upcoming dates in one column and homework in another, whatever it is. Be sure to use only first names of of students in your newsletter because of privacy issues. And then you can also have students write some of the articles themselves, which is a neat way to get student authentic audience for them to write to. Some more written communication ideas. School home journals I talked about just a minute ago, the star folders. It was really great to hear parents respond to my questions or to the positive notes I would leave. But you have to train parents how to do that and how to look at that every single night. Also, a progress report you will write home. A lot of school districts have you write a narrative report along with that progress report. Here are some other ways to communicate. You might set up a homework hotline, have some computer classes at school to where parents can come, parent bulletin boards that your parent volunteers can create, but it's to show what's going on in your class, and also, again, home visits, I said. Also, set up your own website. We already have this done in Tech for Educators, and use it. It's a great way to keep parents informed. Email, stickers, happy grins, all kinds of positive things that you can have going on in your classroom and to keep parents involved. Also, if you want to have some parent meetings, lots of places have parent literacy night or family fun night or family math night, lots of different times so parents can actually get together. You can get to know families, but it's a really great way to connect people and make them feel more connected to the school as a whole. The last thing we'll talk about is truly difficult parents. There are so many parents who are not going to be happy no matter what you do, and so you need to remember that. And you need to remember that it's okay to ask for help. Invite your principal or your counselor in if you need to, and just really try to let those parents know that you want to help them, but you might need help as well.